Here's the thing. A lot of times we think of like home care services for our senior friends, family, et cetera, moms, dads, grandparents. But what happens if you have some sort of surgery that requires some post-operative care and your friends are kind of like, hey, I'd love to help you out, or you have spouses who have to go to work, especially while you're off work, to support the situation there. This could be something, of course, especially if your mobility is affected and there are some light duties that need to happen. And it's a real super easy thing. You give home care services a call here in Santa Clarita. Rick Ferrante here to talk to me about this. Rick, good morning.
Morning, George. How are you?
I am great. And I was telling you off the air about a friend of mine who had major knee surgery and, showing the sutures and everything. I mean, her like half of her leg was cut open, and she had, over the course of time over social media talking about limited mobility, talking about not being able to do things and stuff like that and relying on her family. And it's lucky that she's had that opportunity. I don't know if she's had anybody else helping her, but in this case, if you're single and like I mentioned, your spouse has to go to work, kids aren't around or old enough to help you out, what do you do?
Right. We work with seniors a lot. And, you look at it and it's sort of a similar scenario. But in these cases, it's a little more short-term, kind of an acute scenario. So you're looking at it and say, okay, I got to do this surgery. And a lot of times it's scheduled. It isn't necessarily an emergency thing. You say, okay, great. Got to do this procedure, whatever it is. And I'm going to have maybe a couple days, pretty intense. Sometimes medication makes you kind of loopy. You can't drive a lot of times. You're in a lot of pain. But not a long time, a couple days. And then, sometimes a week. And then maybe a 2-week period, but a short-term period. But during that period of time, George, you become pretty much, you're a patient, and your recovery itself is a lot of times dictated by how much you comply with the instructions of what you should be doing. And it can be tough if you're trying to do that on your own. And what we get a lot of times is people saying, look, I do have friends, I do have family, et cetera, who I could turn to, but it's kind of an imposition. It's a burden on them, and I really don't want to. And it's sort of a weight on people's shoulders that says, okay, not only do I got to go through all this stuff, which is going to be painful and the whole thing, I'm a little nervous and some anxiety, but now I'm feeling bad, and I'm feeling this, that I'm imposing upon my friends or family in addition. And so we'll get a call, okay, can you help me out for this period of time? And, a little, kind of eases off over a period of time. But that burden, that weight on their shoulders is even just helpful. Just kind of, okay, whew, at least that's covered. I don't have to worry about that part, and I have to impose on my sister or whatever it is. And okay, I got that covered, and now I can just concentrate on getting better. And then it's just as an as-needed basis. A lot of times it's hard to tell exactly what you need until you get into it. Even the doctor will say, well, depends on how things go, but you've got to do this medication, you got to be back for this appointment, you got to do these things, and you're sitting here going, well, how am I going to do that?
Exactly.
I can't even drive. I can't, that kind of thing. So seniors, we also help in those situations. A lot of times with seniors, it's just, recovery periods are longer, and there's a lot more sort of care skill-wise is to be able to get those recovery periods to where they're still not as challenging. But we know what we're doing, and we have that kind of whole arrangement where we can work on that and help people out just even through that period of time.
And contoured based on the type of care needed, so it's not necessarily one size fits all.
Yeah, they're so different. A knee thing is different than a plastic surgery is different than a back thing. Everything's kind of different. So a lot of times, George, you got to go in, and what we do is we work with the doctor a little and say, okay, what are those instructions? What should we be doing? Let's kind of make sure we follow and comply with what that physician's telling us to do. And again, you're all, I know what to do and everything, but by the time you get out of that thing, you got the medication going, you're going to forget all of this,
Not to mention the trauma of whatever you're going through. Yeah. And I have a friend, not a very old friend, he's 28, 29 years old, had what he thought was just going to be a laparoscopic hernia procedure, and they find out once they got in, couldn't do it that way. So instead of it, they had to go in the old-fashioned way. So instead of a couple of days recovery time, turned into a couple of weeks. Now I'm not sure who took care of him, but in that situation, especially, he's single, lives on his own. What do you do in that case if you don't have parents or someone to take care of you?
But it's amazing. We take so much for granted, right? We're like, oh, just get up and go to the store. well, if I can't get up and go to the store,
Oh, yeah.
what's going on here? I mean, you don't even think about it until it kind of hits you.
Or even
And
get
I'm-
up and make meals and
You
things
make
like that in
meals,
some
right?
cases.
So it's the kind of thing to anticipate, and we can help just kind of get us involved early.
So this is the thing, post-operative care on many levels, from light to a little bit more intense there. HomeCareSantaClarita.com, home care services. Rick, tell me a little bit about the upcoming Walk to End Alzheimer's.
Yeah, so I always try to get that in because I'm the chair of the Walk to End Alzheimer's. That's on October 8th at Bridgeport Park, the Walk to End Alzheimer's. And we're really looking for teams, we're looking for sponsors, we're looking for volunteers. Give us a call if you want to get involved. This is Santa Clarita's Walk. This is the national organization, but it's Santa Clarita's Walk for resources as well as to find a cure. And we've talked in the past about Alzheimer's, and I'm sure many people out there have been touched by dementia and Alzheimer's. And this is the way to get involved to help those people that are suffering from it and to find a cure. So give us a call. It's 800-808-4777. So 800-808-4777 and say, hey, I want to get involved. You just let us know. We'll find a place for you.
Outstanding. Home care services. Don't forget HomeCareSantaClarita.com for your short-term and even a medium or long-term needs. You check out the website because there's all kinds of services and assistance for anyway, especially parents. Even if you aren't elderly, things that you can do, especially post-operative, anything. All kinds of resources and things like that. You guys do such a great work, Rick. Thanks for stopping by.